Hi, everybody. Welcome to Team Referral Network's monthly webinar, our Brown Bag Lunch and Learn series. Did you bring your lunch? You might be in a different time zone and maybe it isn't lunchtime, but if you are, I hope you're sitting in a place that's quiet. You've brought something to eat, you've got something to take notes with, and you can sit back and enjoy our latest webinar. This is designed to help all small business people, especially those who are members of Team Referral Network. Today's topic is about Facebook ads and, more importantly, the changes that you need to know for 2019. Our expert this month on the Brown Bag Lunch and Learn series is Alex Branning. Alex is of the Branning Group, and he has owned his own digital marketing agency since 2000. Alex works with clients like Chrysler, Billabong, Crocs, hundreds of small business owners, and he's managed millions of dollars in client advertising budgets. He has personally spent $250,000 of his own money on ads. I think that's quite a testament to making him the expert that he is. He started his own podcast, Your Marketing Coach, and it was rated as a top 200 marketing podcast. Would everybody please welcome Alex Branning.
Hey, Kelly, thank you so much for having me on.
It is great to have you here. I love the fact that you are up in Northern California. I think you're up in Redding, correct?
Yes, it is beautiful up here. It was raining yesterday. It's sunny today. It's gorgeous.
I just love it up there. I am a real fan of Lake Shasta and have houseboated several times on the lake. It is quite stunning up there. I think Mike and I have discussed if we were ever going to move to Northern California, Redding would be the area that we would do it. And I know you relocated your family there how long has it been now?
It's going to be 2 years in July, and it was one of the best decisions we ever made. Sometimes you need a new location to kind of hit reset a little bit, and it has helped us out a lot, not just in the business side of things, but also just to bring the family unit closer together. It's been a really good shift for us.
That's great. And full disclosure, you were a prior member of Team Referral Network up in the Antelope Valley, correct?
Yes. Yes. It was a fantastic experience. I was the president of a chapter for I want to say almost a year combined, but it was so much fun. I absolutely love Team and everyone that I met through Team.
Great. And I know you still work with Terry Lee Harrison, who is the franchise owner for Team Referral Network up in the Antelope Valley, and she's the one who reconnected us as well. So it's great to have you back hanging with the family here.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to dive into Facebook ads.
Great. Then that's what we'll do, okay? We're going to start with this really incredible statistic that I'm seeing here on the screen that Google and Facebook controls, and that's probably a great word for it, controls 55.4% of all ads on the internet. Wow. Tell me about that.
So when you're a small business looking to make your mark in the local community, you really have two options to reach half of the people that are in your local community. You can advertise on the Facebook platform, or you can advertise on Google, or like me and many others, you can do both. The key stat here related to the ads, it's really about exposure. You know, before, if you wanted to be seen, you had to kind of shotgun yourself. You know, now you have only these two entities control over half of all of the advertising that we see on the internet. And one of the things that, you know, for me is big is Google and Facebook they take combined about 70% of the time that we spend on our phone. And so if you and I don't know about you, but I spend quite a few hours on my phone every day.
I hate that little report that comes up. Yeah. It's like, really? I spent that much time on it? I had no idea.
Yeah. And so what we get the opportunity to do, though, is we get an opportunity to continually broadcast our message to our ideal client using Facebook, which we'll be diving into how exactly we do that. But the key takeaway from the stat is that these two, if you can advertise on these two, you're in a great position to win in your local community.
Wow, that's great. So I guess that means even this small business owners, people who are like a lot of the members of Team Referral Network, they can play in this arena and be kind of like a big guy even though they're a small guy on a big platform, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Many of our clients that we help have an advertising budget of $10 per day. And that is, you'd be shocked at how much business you can get, how many people you can stay in front of at a $10 a day ad budget.
Wow, that's great. Well, that certainly fits within a lot of business owners' budgets, and so that is great. I'm going to throw out a couple of technical terms here because I had a chance to read through your notes. What is audience granularity?
Yeah, great question. So Facebook allows you to get really specific with who sees your ad. So I want to talk to the real estate agents that are out there and kind of give you an idea of how specific you can get. You can talk to the local residents that are married, where they are in the top income earners, and you can only have an ad show to them. For those of my wife absolutely loved a certain network marketing company that was health focused. If you're looking to generate leads for your health network marketing company, you can target, let's say you're reaching out to women, you can target women who are into healthy eating and follow Weight Watchers. And more specifically, you can get even more narrow and say, I only want women who follow these people and actively buy online in the last 30 days. So they're spending money. I only want my ad to show to them. So you can get really, really specific about who sees your ad. And that's why one of the $10 a day budget works so well, because you can get so specific on who is actually seeing the ads that you're creating. It's not a shotgun approach like radio or TV. You're only showing your ad to the people that you want to talk to.
Great. So I'm going to throw another term out to you that you can explain to our audience. What does retargeting mean?
Yeah, retargeting is one of the most powerful ways to spend your money. So when somebody visits your website, you can you use a Facebook pixel that basically identifies that person to Facebook. So for example, I could go on the Team Referral website. You would have your Facebook pixel on there, and because I'm logged into Facebook, they would recognize me and say, okay, Alex Branning went to the Team Referral Network website. Now, if you have a retargeting ad set up, then, and you have let's say we do events all the time here at Team. So let's say the next Team event's coming up in a couple of weeks, you can only advertise to people who have been to the Team website or who are current Team members, inviting them to the next event. So you can get really specific on who sees that ad, which is very exciting. And it really makes it so that the budget that you're putting out there is spent wisely. So most of my my biggest wins for my clients and for myself have come from retargeting. A lot of times people will find our content online and they won't make a decision right away. So retargeting them helps us stay at the top of mind, stay in front of them, and give them another opportunity to reach out. Whether that next step is a strategy call, whether it's an appointment, an event, or going to a shopping cart and buying something. When you retarget, you are putting your message in front of somebody who is already knows who you are and has seen some of the content you've put out already.
Fascinating and a little frightening at the same time. I must say. Okay, one last question before we move on to that next slide. I also know there's something that's called a look-alike audience. So share that with us. Yeah,
look-alike audience means that you can upload a list of your customers, for example, and say, I only want to use I only want this ad to target people who have the same type of behaviors and demographics as this audience. And so I'll share with you how we use that for one of our car dealership clients. They uploaded a list of people that were local residents that had purchased a car in the last 12 months. We created a lookalike audience off of those users, And then their ad for the latest special only went to the lookalike audience of people that have bought a car already. And so what that does is it puts their ad in front of people who Facebook has identified match the same behaviors and demographics as the people that bought the car. When we did that, we saw a much higher engagement and much lower lead cost for our client, because their ads were going in front of people who look like, who act like, who buy like the people that have already purchased a car this year.
Wow, that is great. Boy, that's getting super specific. I really like this.
Yes.
All right.
It's powerful.
Yes, it is. It certainly sounds like it. Okay, so let's talk about the starting point.
Mm-hmm. So Facebook has built their entire advertising platform to give you what you ask them. And so when you first create a Facebook ad campaign, it's so important to tell them what you're looking for. So there are there are some other campaign objectives, but here's the 5 main ones. So traffic means you want people to click to go to your website. Now, this used to be the default campaign type that people would use. They would say, I want to buy traffic and I want people to go to my website. So I want this ad to show in front of people who are more likely to click and go to my landing page. Then there's reach. When you pay for reach, what you're paying for is engagement on the Facebook post or the Facebook ad that you're putting out there. So for example, Kelly, if you were to create a graphic that was talking about the next quarterly event happening for team, then if you chose reach, then what you're telling Facebook is, I want this graphic, this information to show up in front of people who are likely to like the post or comment on the post or share it. And so you're telling Facebook, my goal here is engagement on the post. Conversion is what I recommend if you're sending people to a website now. This is something that was just launched in the past 18 months. Conversion tells Facebook that you want this to show up in front of people that are likely to take a certain action. So for example, if you are doing a webinar, you're going to send traffic to the page where they would register for the webinar. However, we don't just want people who are clicking on it to look at it. We want Facebook to show this ad to people who look like the people that are actually registering for the webinar. So on your page, you have a Facebook pixel that tells Facebook that they have visited. You can also tell Facebook that a certain event has happened, like registering for a webinar. You can tell them this user has completed the registration for the webinar. Now, when you're doing a conversion traffic like this, when you're doing a conversion objective, then Facebook will start to learn who in the audience that you have told them, right? So for example, if you're targeting small business owners or retargeting, who in that audience is likely to fill out the registration form based on the common thread amongst the others that have gone to the website and filled out the registration form. So conversion is very powerful. Video views are kind of like reach in the sense that when you have a video and you're buying video views, then that's what they're going for. They want to show your ad, they want to show your video to people who have, based on their behavior, shown that they watch videos on a regular basis. So that's a great way to make sure that your message is seen. Now here's one exciting, the exciting campaign objective, and this isn't for everybody, but for my real estate agents and insurance agents and other people that are appointment-based, lead forms are really cool because you can gather information right on Facebook without taking them to a landing page. And so for my real estate clients, what we do is we have a sharp-looking graphic with an invitation to set an appointment to talk about their next home purchase. When they click on that ad, a form pops up, and right there on Facebook, the prospect can fill out their name, email, phone number, and answer a couple questions, and then send the information right to the real estate agent without having to go to a web page. So this is really cool. We'll talk a little bit more about this in a minute with the changes that Facebook has made because they've actually made it even better. But those are the 5 main campaign objectives. It is very important to pick the right one because Facebook is built to make your campaign successful. But if you tell Facebook, if you give them the wrong goal, then you may not get the results that you wanted, even though Facebook is doing the best they can based on what you tell them to go out and do.
Wow, that's great. That's an incredible platform that they've created there.
Yes, yes, it is so powerful. I really believe that every small business can grow their business on this platform. It's all about being smart with how they spend their money and knowing how to use some of these tools.
Well, let's talk a little bit about spending their money. That would be the budget, right?
Yes, yes. So the budget for the campaign is, there's 3 different ways that you can set your budget now. So you can set a lifetime budget. What that means is that if you create a campaign, you can say, this is the total amount of money that I want to spend for this campaign. So for example, if you're running a membership special for a team and you only want this ad to be showing for the next 30 days, you can say, I want to spend a total of, say $300 for this campaign. And so that's the lifetime budget scenario. Then you have your daily budget. So for those of us who are going to be advertising on a regular basis and not turning our ads off, we tell Facebook that we have a daily budget of for the campaign. Something that's new, which is pretty fun, is setting a target cost per action. And I've put in a couple examples here. So this tells Facebook, I want to keep my budget to this price per action. Now, the cost per action, the target cost per action, is complementary to your lifetime campaign or your daily. So you have to set one of those 2, but you can also tell Facebook, this is what I want. I want a target cost per action. So if you are trying to fill up a webinar and your target per registration is, say, $2 per registered viewer, then you can set your daily budget to $10, and then Facebook would go out there and try to get 5 people per day at minimum, but their goal is to get the cost per registration down to $2 each. So what you're doing with that, which is really cool, what you're doing is you're telling Facebook, this is my goal, and if it gets a little bit too high after the learning period is over, in other words, after it initially launches the campaign and the learning period is over, if it cannot get that target cost per action, Facebook will throttle down the spending so that it does not spend your entire budget while it tries to get the cost per action down. So it's a great way that Facebook is helping out the small businesses to say, yeah, if you're not seeing what you were hoping for, then we're going to do you a favor and actually not spend as much of your money until we can get that target cost down.
That is really cool. And I'm echoing, and I'm trying to get online to not echo any further. So I'm just going to go to the next screen and have you talk about media.
Awesome. So here is what an example ad looks like. The reason I bring this up is when I look over some of my clients' campaigns, there are some things that they can change, but a lot of times when we're just getting started, because Facebook ads are so new, we don't know exactly the options that we have. So I want to show this example ad here to go over the different parts of the ad. So we have the ad text, and that is what shows up right above the graphic. Now, here, we want to keep this kind of short. It used to be really popular to put basically like an essay in the ad text so we could go over it was like a sales letter in the ad text. But what we found is that if they can see all of the text in the ad, and there's not that little more link there that you can see in this example, that the ad actually performs better. So that is the ad text, where there are no limits to the amount of copy that you can put in. Then you have your media. Now here you can see that I'm using a single image, where you could be just one funnel away. So that is a single image. It goes all the way across the timeline in one graphic. You also have a carousel, which is like a photo gallery that people can scroll through. That's another option for media. It's not displayed here. Then you have your video, which is pretty self-explanatory. It's a video that takes up the entire width of the timeline, and people can, by default, it starts playing, but the sound isn't on, but it starts playing as you scroll down, and people can click to watch your video. Underneath the photo or the video that you have your headline. So in this one, my headline is "You are one funnel away." Now, there is a limit to the number of characters there. And then underneath that, they have what they call the newsfeed link description. I call it the subheader, but and that has another, it's a character limit as well. Depending on where your ad is shown, and we'll get to that, I believe, in the next slide. Depending on where your ad is shown, some of these components are not displayed. So it's very important when you're creating your ad to preview what your ad looks like. And they have done such a good job of improving their preview. But just as a note, for those of you that are watching this right now, you're taking notes and you're getting ready to run your own ad campaign, make sure that when you're creating it, you preview what it's going to look like on a mobile device and etc. So it's important because you want to make sure that your ad looks good across all the different platforms where it could show up. So that's the media based on your ad.
That's smart. And I'm still echoing. So here we go. We're going to move on to the next slide.
Perfect. Excellent. So we're talking about placement here. This is so good. So one of the most common misconceptions that I get on when people talk about Facebook ads is that it only shows up in the news feed. Now, what I did was I made a list of everywhere that your ad can show up when you create it. This should excite you and inspire you to start taking action. Remember on the first slide that Kelly showed, I said that Facebook and Google combined control 55% of all ads. Well, here's why. So first you have your Facebook platform on the far left here on the slide. You have your news feed, and then ads show up in the right column. And then for those of you that like reading news articles and you swipe back and forth to go from article to article, you can put your ad in there, which is in the instant articles. And the same thing for the videos. You can put your videos in stream so that where it pauses some of those viral videos and it shows a very short ad, that could be you. Then there's the marketplace, which is kind of like the Craigslist on Facebook. You can have your ad show up there. This is really fun, Kelly. Stories are awesome. We love stories here. Stories, you can put your ad in there. So as people swipe through the Facebook stories, your ad can show. And then also suggested videos. So and when people finish watching a video on Facebook, it'll automatically start playing another one. Well, if you put your ad inside of the suggested video placement, it could start automatically playing your ad, so your video, which is fun. So let's jump over to Instagram, which is, by the way, the fastest growing social network right now. And there are two ways to advertise on Instagram. You can do it in the feed, in other words, when people are scrolling through the photos, and you can do it inside the stories. Now, we have found really high success rates by posting short videos inside of the stories. Now, let's jump over to the audience network, which is like New York Times and other website properties that Facebook has relationships with. You can have your ads show up on all of these websites. It is just an amazing way. And also, by the way, this audience network is also on apps. So I had a client of mine who is now a client. He went to a live event of mine, and I marketed a free lead magnet. He saw my ad while he was playing Candy Crush and was like, "Oh man, Alex Branding, I totally forgot about that guy." And after his game was over, he reached out to me, sent me a quick text and said, "Hey man, I just saw your ad while I was playing Candy Crush. We have got to talk." So you never know where your ad's going to show up. It's all about reminding the people that you've met that you exist. And then last but not least is the Facebook Messenger platform. Your ad can show up as a sponsored message and as an ad inside of the of their inbox. So, which is really, it's a powerful way to show up where your people are spending their time. So this is all the different ways. There are all the different places where your ad can show up, and we dive into this, by the way, in our in our home study video course, we show exactly how to set up your ads so they look really good on all these. So it's not complicated. There's just a couple of things to look at when you're making your ad.
That is great. I have switched over to, you gotta love technology, to a different computer. Can you hear me okay now without an echo?
I can, yeah. It sounds like you're a little far away, but we don't have the echo anymore, so it's good.
Right. Gotta love technology. Let's go to the next screen. I love the way that you have approached the information on this webinar, Alex, because we always want to know what mistakes not to make, right? Thank God somebody's gone there before us. They've made the mistakes, and then they can share that information with us. So what are the 4 common mistakes to avoid?
Well, I believe they're on the next screen there. So I tried to outline them in detail, but if you could go to the next slide, that would be awesome. Here you go. So 4 common mistakes to avoid. Number 1, not using the Facebook pixel. Now, if you're sending traffic to a website or you're sending them to a landing page, Facebook will do their absolute best to make sure that their campaign is meeting your objectives. However, if you don't install the pixel on your website, then Facebook cannot help you anymore. So we have found some people spending thousands of dollars a month trying to drive conversions, whether it's purchases or otherwise, and they don't have the Facebook pixel installed, and it kills them. It makes it so that their campaign is nowhere near as successful as they could be. The second mistake to avoid is using the wrong campaign objective. I showed him, or I'm sorry, at the first slide there, I showed 5 different campaign objectives. So making sure you pick the right one, because Facebook will do what you tell it. So if you tell Facebook, go get this ad the most reach, I want it seen by the most people, then those are the people that it will show it to, people who like or engage with your content so that it gets seen by more people. However, if you tell Facebook, I want this post to lead to a specific conversion, then that's where it will show your ad to people who are they believe will take the necessary action that you want. The third mistake is handicapping Facebook on the placement of your ad. We just showed you all the different places your ad can show up. It is our recommendation that when you're setting up your ad, you allow Facebook to put your ad everywhere. And then Facebook, after they start learning who's clicking and where they're getting the best conversions, they'll actually hide your ad or not display it as much on the different platforms where it is not converting. So they'll do the work for you. But our goal for you is make sure that you let Facebook, you let the algorithm turn your ads on and off on different platforms. Don't manually do it, because you just never know. Last but not least, this is a killer, Kelly. Not enough time or budget to see success. If you spend $20 here, $50 there, $100 there, trying to boost an ad and just go for a home run, you're not giving Facebook enough time or budget for them to actually start putting their algorithm in place for your success. I recommend a $10 a day budget for 30 days and then let Facebook do the work for you. You will be shocked at how much better your results are after that first week. That's the learning period for Facebook, is 7 days. So those are the 4 mistakes to avoid when running a Facebook ad campaign.
That is great information. We'll go ahead and move on to that next slide, because now you have some of the changes that we made for 2019. And isn't this kind of normal for tech companies with these platforms where when you get to a point where you know exactly what you're doing, they go and change it up a bit, and then you got to learn what it is that you need to know now. Is that what they're doing here?
Yeah. On the next slide here, let's go to the next slide. I have 9 different upgrades laid out here. And I actually got these directly from, I have a Facebook representative that I talked to. So let's go through these relatively quickly. We dive deep into them in the home study course. So first, our conditional lead ad forms. This is really cool because let's say for my solar salesperson that's watching here, you can only sell solar to a homeowner. So one of the questions that you can ask someone as they fill out a lead form is, are you a homeowner? Yes or no? And if they say no, then the rest of the questions on that lead form change to reflect that you can no longer help them. So it is so cool. I love that they added this in. It makes it so much easier for us to make sure that the leads we're generating are high quality. The next tip, staying along the blue lines here, using automatic placements. We just went over this, but they have done such a great job in their algorithm. We've seen it for our own campaigns. We run close to 6 figures a month in spending for our advertising clients. There's a lot of money that we oversee. And we have found that their algorithm is getting so much better on not wasting money that we're spending. So they're doing a great job. Then number 3, using the mobile first experience. They have added something here. We'll dive deep into it inside of the home study course. But if someone is looking at your ad on a mobile device, you can add in a mobile first experience at no extra cost and add in some additional media, like more photos and videos on your ad as they're scrolling past it. We don't have time to go over that right now, but this thing is mind-blowing, Kelly. It is such a cool way to engage with people on a phone scrolling through Facebook. It's amazing. Another thing we have learned as far as an upgrade goes, the carousel ads where the photo gallery, they are performing way better than single image ads. So for those of you that are creating an ad, I highly recommend you use the photo gallery option, the carousel ads, because we're seeing a much lower lead cost. Let's dive over to the yellow side now. Video. Video is just continuing to crush it. The consumer loves watching short videos. And for those of you that are in the B2B space like I am seeing way better results on a short than I am by doing like a long form copy. So videos are great. Then on your campaign objective, you can tell Facebook what you want to pay for. Tell them you want to pay for landing page views and not clicks. You can set that up on your conversion campaign, and it does so what you're telling Facebook is, I want you to make sure that this only goes to people that I'm only paying for landing page views, not just people who are going to click and go right back out. Then we talked about that. We covered this a little bit, shorter copy. Shorter copy is working far better than your long essay type ads. And then lookalike audiences are just, they're crushing it. She went over the technology for what they're doing on the lookalikes. It was way over my head, but we've seen the results. And lookalike audiences are one of the best ways that you can spend budget. Upload a list of people that have either bought from you or set appointments with you and say, I only want to target people who look like these people, who act like these people, who buy like these people, who have the same demographics as these people. And then last but not least, always review before launching. It's so important to have someone just kind of look over your shoulder and make sure you set everything up right before you start spending your money. So those are my 9 tips for 2019.
So Alex, I'm going to go back to the lookalike audiences. When you say you're uploading your list, how are you uploading that? Are you uploading it because they're with you on Facebook? Are you uploading data from your CRM? What is that like?
Yeah, so inside of the Facebook Ads Manager, you can upload a file to create an audience. And so, for example, for you, Kelly, you could upload all of the members of Team. And then you could say, I want to create a lookalike audience based on the members of Team. And so then you could run an ad that targets people who look like other members of Team and only in a certain area because you want those people coming to your next event. So it's going to target people who look like the members of Team. So small business owners, people who are willing to invest in themselves, people spending money, etc. So that's how a lookalike audience would work for you. But you would upload that data into Facebook, and then they would find the users that correlate to the data that you've uploaded. So for example, if you're uploading, name and email addresses, they'll find the people that belong to those name and email addresses on the Facebook platform.
So interesting. So we know with Team Referral Network, we kind of have that top 10 categories that are in every single chapter of Team, you know, real estate, mortgage, financial services, insurance, health and wellness, banking, etc. And so if we said, hey, we're looking for those, let's say we were opening up a new Team Referral
Yep.
Network franchise in, you know, New Jersey, okay? And we say, here's our people, we upload the information, and now we want to find them in this area, you know, this area of New Jersey, these zip codes or that kind of thing. Is that how that works?
Exactly. So your ad would say, I am looking to send referrals to a real estate agent, a banker, a lender, etc. There would be a carousel ad where they could scroll through photos of, you know, images of people who are in Team, and underneath the headline would say real estate agent, lender, banker, etc. They would click on that ad so that they would see an event that you're doing, in this case in New Jersey, and that they could attend it and see if it's a good fit for them.
Cool. That's really awesome. I think I knew this because, of course, we are all recipients of this when we're on Facebook, correct? I mean, it happens all the time to us where those ads pop up, and, you know, sometimes at a certain point you think, wow, that's really super creepy because, you know, who's watching me do that?
Right.
But if we get over the fact that, you know, it's happening to us and it's super creepy in some ways, shapes, and form, you know, we could turn around and understand that in actuality, and I think this is the point some people miss in the whole privacy issues that are coming down the pike, especially here in California. I think what people miss here is that instead of being bombarded with meaningless ads, which is what the past looked like, we can now be bombarded with advertising that is meaningful to us because we have gone out and searched or looked for it. They have found that we are looking for it, and then they are sending us ads that mean something to us.
Yep.
So we really shouldn't look at this as a negative. We should really be looking at this as potentially a positive, to have things that are of interest to us being advertised and displayed and marketed to us.
Absolutely. It's when something like this pops up, look at it and go, how can I use this same thing here to grow my business?
Right. Yes. I think everybody's going to take a little bit different view of those digital impressions that are popping up for them, or the ads in their feed, and maybe start thinking about how this might help build and grow their business as well. Before we get off the 9 tips, what's kind of your best recommendations in terms of video? What should people do for video?
Great question. Make the video short, talk specifically about to the customer. Don't talk about yourself. You don't have time for that right now. Share with them exactly one tip, one benefit, one payoff that they're looking for. And then at the end of it, then make a very short offer and tell them what they need to do next. So for example, my video would be talking about, it would be sent to real estate agents, talking about how they can drive more traffic to their open house. Then the next step would be to click the button below to get my free open house video ad set that they could use for themselves.
Cool. And speaking about a short offer, let's go to the next screen, because I know you've prepped something very special for our listeners here today and our Team Referral Network members and people who have registered for this webinar. Tell us a little bit about what you have here available for them.
Yeah, so I'm super excited about this. So we have a digital course that goes into Facebook ads. We dive into placement. We have over-the-shoulder video demonstrations of exactly what to do, all the steps, how to set the objective, how to set up your pixel. I mean, you know, if you're a beginner, we've got you covered. If you've run some ads before and have not found success, I believe that some of these modules in here are going to be the thing that changes your campaigns from a loser to a winner. And if you're an advanced Facebook ads user and you spend a lot of money, the training in here and some of the more advanced modules is going to show you how to get over the hump and really hone in some of these ads. We also included some bonuses for our team members. We have some copy and paste ads from all different types of industries that we found success in. So you can use these, copy and paste them, use them right away for your business. And then, last but not least, if you take action on this, you get a 30-minute call with me so that I can give you advice for your next campaign. So we'll work on your targeting. We'll work on your message in that 30-minute call. The total value of everything is a little over $2,000, but it's only $97 today, only $97. To get in on it, go to alexbranding.com/team. That's alexbranding.com/team. You'll get lifetime access to my Facebook Ads 101 course, which we update every single year. You'll get all of my video training, which has over-the-shoulder tutorials on how to use the ads manager and all the different tools inside of it. You'll get copy and paste ads that you can use right away, and you'll get a 30-minute call with me so that I can advise you on exactly what to do for your next campaign.
Wow, Alex, that's a great offer. I love it. That is wonderful. I mean, just the digital course alone is probably something that can get people propelling forward and creating a great Facebook campaign, but all the other stuff is super cool. So thank you for putting together something so special for our listeners here today. We really appreciate it. And we're actually getting to the point where we are wrapping up for today. I can't believe how quickly the last almost 45 minutes have gone. But I want to take a moment to thank you, Alex, for joining us on this webinar, sharing your tips and information, and then the special offer as well. It's been really great having you be part of our Brown Bag Lunch and Learn webinar series. And for everybody else who's listening to the recording here, always can get more information about Team Referral Network by going to teamreferralnetwork.com. And Alex, before we let you go, give one more time the website address that they should go to.
Yeah, go to alexbranding.com/team. Right. alexbranding.com/TEAM.
Perfect. Well, thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Alex. I hope everybody goes and has the rest of their day and their week be an absolute success. Thanks, everybody.